That's not a cut. That's a slice.
Now this is a quack hook.
Oh,
Short
wow.
and into the right rough, headed to the trees.
Oh my God, it's a shank. He decided to re-tee. That's a shank. Oh, man.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Two-Way Miss podcast. Thank you, as always, for joining us wherever, whenever you might be listening and hopefully watching. I am one of your hosts, Mr. Regz, and I am joined, as always, by the good buddy Banksy. Banksy, how's it going, bud?
Hey, it's going great.
Love that.
Going great.
So, as promised, we played some golf together recently, and we are going to talk about it. So,
Absolutely.
we had a lovely day. Met at a nice little brewery beforehand. Had a drink or two. Just sitting, relaxing. Went over the golf course. Did not touch the driving range, you and I. Just said, nope, we're ready to go.
Nope.
Just point us to the first tee.
Yeah.
Our playing partners, were a little late because they were over there hitting balls as we drove by. But it was fine. Obviously, they were very close and we're just fine. But yeah. And off we went, man. So we had never seen this course before.
Yeah, new course from the last time we played in this event.
Yeah. It was interesting, I think, to say the least.
Yeah. It had some neat holes. Fairly open in most spots. You kind of just grip it and rip it, and hope you get it close to the green, and make a few putts, which we did.
Yeah. I mean, some short par fours. One really short par three is only like 89 yards or something.
Well, yeah. What we went from a 230-yard par four
to
a 90-yard par three. So that was a little quirky.
Yeah.
And yeah, we had to wait a half an hour to play our shots on that hole.
Yeah, that was a tough little stretch there. Yeah.
Yeah. With no, that would have been a perfect place for the keg.
That would have been a perfect place for the keg. I think that has to be one of the comments probably made back, is that this should be a place where beverages are.
For sure.
You probably set up a hot dog stand there too.
Ayo. Maybe, hot dogs. Maybe some tacos.
Oh, there you go.
Tacos and tequila while you're waiting.
I like it. Suggestion box.
Tacos and tequila.
So, I mean, we started on a par 5, which was a ton of fun. We eagled it, which is great.
Yeah.
Which was a good start.
A tap-in eagle.
Yeah, literally.
At that. Get your round going with the tap-in eagle.
It was pretty nice.
Yeah.
And I mean, we went 6 under through what, 5?
For 5, yeah. With that, you drained a bomb on that 5th hole. Probably the toughest hole in the golf course.
Probably. That pin was sitting on that little shelf and it was like up a hill, so you weren't really sure what the green looked like, having never played there before.
Yeah, and you Drano. Regz goes Drano with the putt.
One time for the kid is, I think, what I yelled.
Yeah.
Just for fun. I contribute every so often.
And then we kind of peed it out there for a while.
And then it was a weird little stretch there.
Yeah, like almost time to hit the panic button.
It was.
And then
it was interesting going into the back 9. There was not a backup, but like, again, people were kind of stacked up. And we heard from one of Azzy's buddies that they had gone 8 under on the back 9. And we're like, well, crap, we went 6 under on this other 9. Now we're like, how far behind are we?
Yeah.
And I think we quickly learned that the second 9 that we played was the much easier of the two. Right. With, like you said, that really short par 4 and a short par 3
and 2 par 5s on that 9.
Yeah, right.
As opposed to 1 par 5 on the first 9.
Right.
And then we turned on the the afterburners there for 8 holes. Didn't have the best finish.
No, probably no. We would have liked to
but
finish a little better.
but those first 8 holes, man, that was special.
It was fun. We I think when we birdied 10, we were like, all right, it's time to go. Like because I think we had parred everything right after 5.
5 or
6,
yeah,
right? We
yeah.
had just had nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, we had looks at it, just weren't leaving probably longer putts than we should have been leaving,
Sure.
and just not making any of them. I think after we birdied 10, we were like, all right, here we go. Like, let's get this rolling.
Well, birdied, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Mhm.
No, eagled.
One of the the first par 5, yeah.
Yeah. And then birdied 17.
Yep.
And then, ultimately had a fairly easy par on 18, but it wasn't the prettiest. It wasn't the prettiest finish. It would have been nice, that little cherry on top.
Yeah.
We could have.
It was like the
9.
one time we didn't have a drive in like an easy spot.
Yeah, and it was kind of a weird hole. It was one of those holes where it's like, yeah, driver's probably not the best play, but if I can finesse something,
Yeah,
and
right.
hit the perfect shot,
Right.
it'll turn out, and none of us hit a perfect shot.
Yeah. I mean, you just pushed yours a little too far right.
Yeah, you had to take something off.
You did have to, yeah.
It had to be a high cut.
Yeah.
And it was a little too cutty.
Yeah. And Adam kind of hooked one a little too much.
Went a little left.
Plenty up there, but just, went a little left.
Right. Yeah. We
would all like that chip back. We would all like that chip back.
We'd like the chip back. We'd probably like a tee shot or 2
yes.
back. I think we just had the juices flowing.
And
I think in our heads we're just
it.
like, we're just gonna hit the perfect shot. We're gonna make another eagle.
Well, I think even when we saw Adams like where his ball ended up, we were like, we got like plenty of room. We're fine.
Yeah.
Like, it really wasn't it wasn't in a bad spot. We all just probably hit our 4 worst shots collectively of the whole day.
In a row, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
But look, got in the house. Not one bogey on the card.
Yep, got to the house at 16 under, and that was 2 clear of second place. So it's nice to get it done. It's nice to win anything, but it's nice to get it done for Azzy's family tournament or family ties to the cause. So it's nice to get that W for him.
It was nice to be back. It was nice to go back. We had a blast like the first time we played it. Yeah, it was just, we had a good time. Again, I had a great time. It was a great day.
Great day. Nice weather.
Yeah. I regretted not putting sunscreen on a little bit. I should have had some in the bag. The second, the back 9, it got a little hot, a little sunny,
a little toasty.
A little toasty. Yeah. Should have had some sunscreen in the bag. That's a mistake on my part. But yeah, man, it was a great day. I unfortunately had to skedaddle very quickly.
Very, very quickly.
I made it with 35 minutes to spare.
Oh my gosh, there was plenty of. You could have stayed.
Barely.
35 minutes to
enough
spare.
time to get changed in my car in the parking lot of a Panera Bread next to the theater, and then walk in with my lovely wife to go see a show.
Good for you.
Yeah. So ultimately, the whole day worked out fine. Everything worked.
It was just an overall great day.
Yeah. And I can't wait to go back and win it again.
Absolutely.
And not have something to do afterwards.
Yes, please. Please.
I promise I will not have something to do afterwards.
Okay.
On the next
Hold
one.
you to that.
All right. That's fine. I promise. All right. Well, look, we will get together again and golf soon. It was a blast as always. So we have a major tournament to talk about. PGA Championship wrapped up. And look, man, we just gotta talk about the elephant in the room. What does this change anything about how you feel about Xander Schauffele?
I I I don't know. I don't know. Aside from him not having a difficult time winning tournaments that he's in the lead of or near the lead of, I'm just not a fan of his to begin with.
Yeah.
Aside from all that, so good for him. Good for him for I guess keeping his shit together and winning. I mean, I guess the alternative was Bryson, which, as you hear more and more, Bryson is now embracing just like this weird dude. So now he's gaining popularity back from fans, where it's not like everybody hates Bryson. Now it's everybody likes Bryson.
Yeah.
So it's just of the two that were there at the end. Whatever. I thought from a golf major standpoint, I was a little disappointed with the winning score. I'm okay every once in a while just having a golf course play hard. Like, just 17 under in a major, and all week leading up, they're talking about how difficult the golf course is, and rough, and this and that, and these guys go out and they torch it. So good for Xander, whatever, finishing off, getting the major. But as I look at the scores, I'm like, dude, I don't know if I enjoy seeing that. We see that every week on the normal events.
Yeah.
Now it's time for a major, which is supposed to be like the absolute toughest test of golf, and these guys are still shooting ridiculous scores. Like, toughen up the golf course, and it doesn't have to be length. They talk about, oh well, there's no, we run out of land to make it to make the golf course longer and harder. No, tighten fairways, grow rough, put pins in harder spots, make the greens faster. I don't know. I just don't need to keep seeing like these crazy low scores, especially in majors. And that's my opinion. I don't know.
No, I think there's a couple things here. I think number one, we can't deny the fact that he went wire to wire in a major and won.
Yeah. Got off to a great start.
It's just a fact. Like, the dude led after round one and ended up winning the major. Like, it's something we have to accept. I think the same thing can also be true that, like, it just kind of did nothing for me.
Yeah. That's a good, yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
Like,
yeah.
You can't take the fact away from the guy that he did it. He didn't choke. He led from start to finish in a major championship. He did it. And he won. Like, you can't take that away from him. I feel nothing. I feel nothing. I have no emotion. I'm not happy. I'm not sad. I'm not angry. I'm not disappointed. I'm just cool.
Yeah.
You know? Cool. I think, to your point, to the other side, I think Bryson winning it would have been more interesting because it's another guy from LIV who has come and won a major championship. And it proves that maybe someone else besides Brooks can do that. And it gives me hope that maybe Rahm can figure it out one of these days. And that's just because I like Rahm as a player. Like, that's where my interest goes. Again, do I really care if Bryson wins another major? Not really. You know, I'm not really rooting for it, but it would have been more interesting at the very least. I also don't think you can discount the fact that with where the PGA is in the schedule now, that the rain, which this golf course got, and the condition it was played in, was much easier than if it was going to get played in late July, where in Louisville, Kentucky, it's going to be pretty damn hot and like baked out. And those greens aren't going to be receptive, and it's not going to be a 20 under score that wins. Do I think Xander wins that tournament? No, I don't. But it's almost like DJ's Masters. Like you can't deny the fact the guy won a Masters championship. Is it a little bit weird? And there's some things I can say about it that make it maybe not the greatest major championship win ever. Yes, you can't deny that he went wire to wire and won the major. Xander is a major champion now. It just does nothing for me. It just does nothing. And the fact that the best golfer in the world, who is playing on the greatest hot streak we've ever seen, and now that the videos come out, got arrested on some bullshit.
Yeah, holy shit, man.
We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that. We'll get to it. But
I didn't know when we were gonna segue into
we're
that.
just gonna reference it now. But like, got arrested on some bullshit.
Yeah.
Which took him completely out of the tournament.
Sure, like, that first day that it, happened, you think the adrenaline had to have carried him.
Oh, absolutely.
Like he played great on what, Friday?
Yep.
Friday. He played great. I think not fully comprehending what happened.
No, you're just running on,
and the adrenaline of the situation, like that definitely got you through that. But then to come back from that,
you have to sit and think about it that night, that morning. Your caddy, who has been your like confidant in all this, isn't there.
Right.
And it all, like, I think he admitted it all just kind of sunk in.
Sure.
The next 2 days. And it certainly looks like he should be acquitted of all charges, because the fact that police report said a policeman was dragged by a car is absurd and humiliating.
Is
to that police department. And then the mayor came out the next day and said the video will prove conclusively what happened. Yeah, it proved that your police officer's a psychopath.
Whose video? Right. Who has that?
So wait, first off, the guy who didn't turn his body cam on like he's supposed to, or the video that shows Scotty Scheffler traveling this far before stopping his vehicle, and the police officer standing up the entire time.
And then swinging at the driver's side window,
trying to punch it out. Right.
Freak. Yeah. The video, I'm like, Jesus, did he have his nightstick that he was trying to bash in the window?
Was he going to drag him out of the broken window?
What a freak. Yeah. Back to Xander real quick.
Yeah.
Hopefully somebody out there, one of our listeners takes our advice, where we encourage you wholeheartedly to bet against everything that we
always
say. I would love for somebody to
we should start tracking that compared to who we say won't win.
I mean, I hope somebody put money.
Somebody could be making a lot of money
after we fully
flat out said he will not win this golf tournament.
Will not win.
Yeah.
I hope some listener out there was like, yeah, that I'm putting some money down on Xander to take this home.
We continue to be very good at this.
Very
just
good.
Picking the complete opposite. So I'm not sure why somebody hasn't picked up on it yet. The thing is, if me and you did it, it wouldn't happen.
Oh no.
It's because we just talk about it. That's why it happens. Right. But
there's somebody out there that just won a boatload of money.
You guys got to start picking up on this.
Yeah. So and then Colin was there for a while.
Yep.
We might have gave Colin less than a shot than Xander, and he was right there too. So,
Yep.
folks, listeners,
Yeah, seriously.
please,
If you're not taking
please,
advantage of this, I'm not sure why.
we are basically offering you free money by betting against.
I was about to say
everything that
some of
we
these
bet.
betting sites should like be sponsoring us at this point, because if like we're giving out winners, but just in different ways. This is a completely new twist on this.
Yeah.
Listen to these guys, and whoever they say won't win, bet on that person.
Yeah, this is like innovative, man. Like we're outside the box.
Seriously. Again, FanDuel, DraftKings, whoever. We are open for business.
We are open.
They'll catch on.
All right.
Yeah, it's so funny. But look, it just did nothing for me.
I agree.
Luckily,
agree.
it was a decent finish, and like it got close at the end, and it wasn't just Xander walking away with it. I think
right.
that was good. That like Bryson and Vic were kind of like hunting him down a little bit. But outside of that, it's just like the golf course was terrible. The Scotty thing happened, which makes the whole thing like, well, what if Scotty never got arrested? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
what would have happened? Because he was, 2 shots off the lead going into Saturday?
Yep.
And it's just, and then you just have a guy that is just like the most bleh guy on the entire golf course.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if anything else sparked your fancy out of this.
It really didn't. And it's you try and get so hyped up for majors. It is at a disadvantage because it comes it's the one after the Masters.
Yeah, it's a tough spot.
That's a tough spot to be in.
It's like the show that's on after The Sopranos or like Game of Thrones. It's like, I don't know how it's gonna be. I don't know how this one's gonna do for us.
Like, how do you feel about the scores? I know the golf course because of the rain.
Yeah.
And this, I want to see a difficult.
But I think this is the PGA Championship's problem. When they were later in the year, they could kind of get away with being like a mini US Open. They were trying to make it more difficult, and the time of year allowed them to do that.
Right. So it's just time.
And now you're back into like one of the rainiest parts of the entire calendar. And if you're anywhere near the East Coast, which again, Kentucky is like, not quite in the middle, but not quite in the East, it's like right there. But like, you're going to get weather in these spots.
Yeah.
And I know like it's going to the West Coast and things like that, in the coming years. But again, I just think with this time of year, I don't know what the identity of this tournament is going to be, because they were trying to make it more difficult like a US Open. And I just don't know if the courses that they're picking and the time of year it is ever going to allow it to play that way. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, agreed.
And again, I just don't like I just don't think it's a good golf course.
Well, U.S. Open next, Pinehurst number 2.
I mean, well, that should be fantastic.
That'll hopefully, get our mojo back with majors.
I mean, Pinehurst number 2 is arguably one of the greatest American golf courses that exists. So I don't think there can be a lot of people who are going to be like, oh yeah, Pinehurst number 2 sucks. You know what I mean? Like, it's not as probably good to watch golf there as it is at Valhalla, right? Valhalla is set up for people to watch golf. Pinehurst number 2 is not the same, but the golf will be better.
Yeah.
Like the difficulty will be better. Guys will have to hit very good to perfect shots to like be able to score. Because that's how those greens are. That like if you don't hit the perfect shot, they're gone. And everything's short grass. Everything's short grass around it. There's no rough to hold balls up. Balls are just going to be like slowly rolling,
good.
into short grass areas. Guys are going to have to chip their balls off. Like, it's just going to be, it's going to be good.
Okay, something to look forward to.
There you go.
Yeah, I agree. Um,
I think
right.
next thing we got to talk about the cat.
Oh boy.
I know I was right. I didn't want to be. Any observations, feelings, thoughts on the cat's few days?
Not no. I mean, he looks great for stretches. I mean, not great. He looks good for stretches. And then there's just those parts of the golf course and those holes where it's just like this is tough to watch.
Yeah.
It's tough to watch, and he knows it. Like he says, I don't play enough.
Tournament
And
golf. He
you're
doesn't play enough
yeah,
tournament golf.
and it's 100% right. And like for him, the only 4 times we see him, other than what the hero and the PNC father son, like the 4 times we see him is in the 4 biggest tournaments
Yeah.
in golf, and he's trying to roll up to these and
Yeah, right. Having
to
just like
win,
shot in his
you know?
backyard, right?
Yeah, it's just, and I don't think this is ever going to be the plan, and I don't even know if his body would permit it, but and I guess there's really no reason, nothing left to prove, but why not? I would be curious to see what he would look like in a normal weekly tournament that's you know not a designated event, not a whatever, just a normal regular round of golf.
Yeah.
Like what that would look like, what he would look like
Yeah.
in non-major conditions, non-major course.
So a few people made like some good points. I think his schedule should be entirely based around golf courses he can physically make it around.
Right.
Like, I know Augusta is always going to be a thing. It's not an easy course to walk around. He made it this year and he did it. But like, I almost like just, you have to pick some other places that are going to be easy walks. Like you said, not as much pressure. And you just, if you are still saying publicly, like, I'm still playing because I think I have a chance to compete. It's like, you haven't proven that in several years.
Yeah.
So if you really want to do that, you need to go play some other places. And I'm not saying go play hard, like the hardest spots possible. Go play easy walks, flat courses where you can just go and get some reps. Because just everything's rusty. His distance control, when the driver gets at, it's not that accurate all the time anymore. It's his putting, his feel for putting is not great, is not good. It's just like,
I'm surprised he is continuing to stick with that 20-plus-year-old Scotty Cameron. I mean, I know that's his Billy Baru
yeah.
and his baby, but and you know what, at home, like there's no way he's not putting with other,
Oh,
just sticking around
they've
with
showed his
other
like simulator room.
Yeah,
There's
yeah, right.
19 bags of golf clubs.
What does Tiger look like with a mallet putter?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I mean, he did make a switch. I think that was 2018. He did make a switch
Yeah.
to more of a mallet style for several rounds. But so, are you saying playing in other events to get ready for majors, or playing in other events to try and win those events? Like, I don't know if he cares
not to win. No, I don't care about the winning. I just think I think this applies even to US Opens and PGA Championships and Open Championships. We know he's always going to be at Augusta. But if the PGA or the US Open or the Open is going to some course that is just an impossible walk, like, don't go. Go play somewhere easier to get ready for the next one. Like, it's like you said, he's dropping into these tournaments, telling us he's here because he thinks he can still compete. And it's like, dude, you can't, because you have no reps on this.
And you have his people or his camp saying, "Oh my God, he's flushing everything. He's shooting such," and then he goes out and plays. And you're like, what the fuck was that?
Right.
Right. Like, yeah. So I agree. I don't know, and we won't have an accurate sense of what his body feels like.
Yeah. It's either that or you're just going to play these 4 tournaments. You're going to miss the cut at a lot of them. And then when you hit 50, go sit in a cart and play the Champions Tour.
Right.
And if that's the goal, then cool. Just don't come into these being like, I'm still here because I want to compete.
But, and the other part too is, he's not going to surpass Jack.
No.
He's not going to get to Jack.
Yeah.
If he gets one more, that would be a great moment. It would be the most unthinkable thing. But at the end, it's like, okay, well, he had 15. He got 6. I mean, he's not trying to break the record anymore.
So here's a question, though. Do you think there's a better chance he plays better if he is on the Champions Tour and playing just regular golf tournaments more? And then when he rolls into majors, he's like had some actual golf time.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So what? He still has a couple years.
I don't know, but like who knows?
That's a really
freaking Tiger Woods. Like I don't know.
So if he can play some Champions Tour events with a cart, get some reps in, and then show up to these majors. Yeah, hey.
Having not taken that kind of toll on his body.
Yeah, that is not a bad thought. I mean, obviously he needs to stay healthy for another 3 years or so till he can 2 years, something like that. Boy, that's a really interesting thought. Because you're right, it's kind of like the best of both worlds. Like, hey, I can actually go out and play tournament golf and not destroy.
The setups aren't as bad. You're only playing 3 rounds. You're in a cart.
Yep. So I can get some reps in, and then I can roll into this major and maybe feel a little bit more.
Like
confident.
You've got something dialed, like that you have anything like that, where any club is going to go. Like you roll up after hitting on your simulator and in your backyard. You're like, well, that club doesn't do that. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you mean in your perfect setup? Like it didn't fly that far, or you have 120 yards and you keep hitting it 110. It's like, hey man, maybe you got to like dial this in a little bit.
Yeah, that's a great thought. That's a great point. That is a extremely optimistic pro Tiger thought.
I'm not saying he's gonna roll in and win.
No. But you're right. Like what you're saying holds some definite value, because you're right. Like he will have the opportunity to play some tournament, some competitive rounds of golf, and it won't destroy his body, because you're right. He's going to be in a golf cart.
Right.
Oh man. Now I can't wait for the next 2 years from now.
Like at this point, just sit him out. Like just play Augusta and the Open when it's on a flat course. Like just screw these other tournaments, screw these other majors.
Yeah, but does he go to any regular PGA Tour events?
At this point, why put your body through it?
Just to see if he can. I mean, right? Does a win mean anything to him anymore if
Not
it's
at a
not
regular tournament, no.
if it's not a major.
No. I don't, I mean, in my opinion, no.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, I agree. Oh, Tiger, you got us, man. We're just so
We're so
captivated.
hooked.
Like we're just
We're
so hooked.
just
It's
unapologetically, we're hooked
yeah,
for life. We
I
will
can't.
never quit them.
I can't. Yep, we won't. We won't quit him.
Nope.
Exactly.
And as soon as he gets out there on the Champions Tour, I can't wait to see what happens.
Oh man,
I'm going to be enthralled. I'm going to be like
yeah,
watching
that's gonna get
scoreboards and like
so
pulling up the
much
telecast.
That's gonna be so much airtime.
Oh my
and
God, yeah.
Those courses, like the amount of
people that are going to show
patrons.
up.
Oh my gosh,
It's going to be crazy.
That'll be wild.
Yeah.
And there's no cut, so he's there for
Exactly.
3 days,
Right.
no matter what.
Yep.
Yeah, that's funny. That's wild.
It's going to be good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I guess are we going to transition back here to Scotty
Yeah.
for the last?
Yes.
Yeah. Because it was a definite. Well, first of all, it's the whole situation is crazy. The fact that somebody died because they got hit by a bus at 5 o'clock in the morning, right outside the gates. Like the story itself starts out terribly.
Oh yeah.
Kind of strange. And then this layer of Scotty just pretty much probably just thinking like, oh, this is just normal security and I'm getting to the golf course. Like that had
just
to
like I have for the past 3 days.
Yeah,
I'm going around these people who don't have a courtesy car to get into the golf course. He's not turning into like the opposite side of traffic. He's literally turning into the golf course.
Into the golf course with and any lights or flashing lights or it's in his mind that's just normal security getting ready for the tournament, getting ready for the day.
And obviously, by all accounts, this is what players and coaches have been allowed to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just think and again, I think Jeff Darlington being there for ESPN reported exactly what he saw. I am not disputing what Jeff Darlington reported or anything like that. But he said Scotty traveled 20 yards and the policeman was attached to his car. He went 7 feet. That car traveled this far from the time the officer got close to him and Scotty stopped his car. This far. And the report says the officer was dragged to the point where he was injured and his pants were torn in two. And he got felony assault on a police officer. He went 9 feet. He didn't travel the length of the car before he stopped.
Right. And why,
just what an embarrassment. What an absolute atrocity.
It's pathetic. And the video that we're watching now makes the whole situation look so bad for that police department. Like they look like idiots.
It's awful. And then the mayor came out and defended them.
Yeah, well, they'll be issuing some apologies, I would imagine, or they're going to try and just save face and be like, "No, we did everything right."
It says he says he was dragged by a car. He was never out of frame of the video.
Right, and then looked like he was trying to
bash the window open.
Bash in the window, the driver's side window in which Scotty was driving.
For which he drove for 2 seconds.
Yeah. Not a good look.
It's awful.
Not a good look. And and now of course, because this is how media goes, like you're getting all the dirty laundry on this officer about his prior breach of rules
Yeah,
and
shocking.
not following protocols and and there's this apparently dates back almost 10 years of this guy having infractions
Yeah.
and needing discipline.
Good thing he's still a police officer, though.
Yeah, for sure. Um, so yeah, I hope, I hear, I'm sure some of those charges will be dropped.
They all should
I,
be. He
I
didn't
don't
do
know.
one thing.
Yeah, I don't know if they keep reckless driving or something.
How is that possible?
I don't know. I don't know. I just, his arraignment is what, June
Yeah,
3rd
they
or
moved it. I
something?
guess it was supposed to be this week.
Yeah. So,
But it's like, how as a judge or jury can you look at that video and look at the charges and be like, yep, these match up?
yeah, and with these new video angles and what's going on, who knows what's going to happen between now and June 3rd.
Right.
It's probably
If someone doesn't come out and say all these are dropped and we apologize, for putting Mr. Scheffler through this, we're looking into, why this happened, why this was escalated so quickly. Like, how could, if it isn't that, it's like, you're a joke.
Right.
Wild stuff.
Wild stuff. Just trying to make my tea time, guys.
Yeah.
Trying to make my tea time.
Unbelievable.
And ultimately, it affected his. It affected his play.
Yeah.
There's no way that it. There's no way that it couldn't have. So
no.
Just a super weird situation. Like having him, just watch him being escorted away in handcuffs.
Yeah.
Like,
insane.
Man, there was no better way to handle that situation.
No. I mean, like you said, in the next few weeks, I would expect a full apology and a full dismissal of all charges. And if it doesn't happen, then God, I pray for you people who live in Louisville, because good Lord. I don't know what's happening. All right, man. Good stuff as always. Appreciate you jumping on, recapping the PGA, talking about that crazy video that came out, and giving a peek maybe into how Tiger can bring it back a little bit, because we will never quit him. We will never quit him.
Yep.
All right, everyone. So, as always, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Search the Two Way Miss Podcast. Search Birdies and Beer Podcast Network on YouTube. You will find us. Click that red subscribe button. We are trying to get to 100 subscribers by the end of the year. We are at 70, just 30 away. We know you know people who like golf. Share it with them. Send them a link. Tell them it's free. Just click that little red button. You can see our lovely faces. We record every podcast in video form and put it up there. And we do have plans for actual golf content going on the channel. This will happen. We will be videoing a round between the two of us playing a match together. So that is coming this year. It is happening this year.
Not in the wind and the rain.
That's right.
It's just, we're going to have a nice day of golf.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. So something to look forward to. But you can find us on all your podcast platforms, anywhere you find your podcast. Leave us a rating, leave us a comment. Appreciate everyone that has done so in the past. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow us on Instagram at B&B Podcast. You follow that guy at FairbanksC23 on Instagram, and also Overlook Golf Course on Instagram. You can follow the pod on Twitter at the Two Way Miss. You can also follow me on Twitter at Big Regz with a Z. As always, we appreciate everyone listening, watching, whatever you might be doing to support the podcast. Thank you, everyone, and we will catch you very soon. Thanks, everyone.
Swing hard, everyone.
Oh, it's not a cut. That's a slice.
Now this is a quack hook.
Oh,
Short
wow.
and into the right rough, headed to the trees.